Спасибо, уважаемая госпожа Русов. Вы сказали, что доллар используется в качестве оружия. Да, действительно, мы видим это так. На самом деле, думаю, что это большая ошибка тех, кто это делает, потому что использование доллара, а он является до сих пор важнейшим инструментом в мировых финансах, как средство достижения политических целей, подрывает доверие к этой валюте и снижает его возможности. Но не мы же это делаем, это делают другие люди. Мы не отказываемся, не боремся с долларом. Но если нам не дают с ним работать, что же делать? Мы тогда вынуждены искать другие альтернативы, что и происходит.
Why not greenlight the long-range missiles for Ukraine's use, which is Zelensky's #1 ask, as you're sounding the alarm about what could have far-reaching implications if North Korean soldiers go into Ukraine?
Well, for one thing, Jackie, we don't exactly know what these guys are going to do.
What else could they be there for?
We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if they're going to deploy into combat or not. We don't know if they do and what strength. We certainly don't have a sense of what capability they might be able to bring to the field with them.
This is my video update on this Thursday afternoon, October the 24th. Let's talk about some news, and let's start things off with Brics. Of course, we are going to start things off with Brics. And yesterday we got some more Brics de-dollarization news, I guess you could call it. Brics de-dollarization announcements. Putin announced yesterday during the Brics summit that he suggests Brics create an investment platform to boost growth within Brics members, as well as countries that are looking to join Brics and throughout the global south, the global majority. And this investment platform is, of course, going to be outside of the USD. And Putin also suggested that Brics create a grain trading platform, a trading exchange, which will carry over to Brics members and countries looking to enter Brics. This will carry over not only to grain in the future, but will also include other commodities like oil, gas, precious metals, etc., which Brics countries control a whole lot of. And all of this will be done outside of the US dollar. And Putin was gifted a Brics note, a Brics bill is what he was gifted yesterday. It wasn't real. This is not a real Brics note, but we all get the meaning behind the gift of a Brics note to Putin. We all understand what Brics and all the countries that are looking to enter Brics are trying to tell the world, especially the collective West, with this Brics note. A Brics bill is what many people are calling it. And today at the Brics event in Kazan, we are going to have the Brics Plus outreach meeting, which is 36 plus countries that are applying to join Brics and that want to join Brics. They're going to meet today and discuss the issues and the process to join Brics. 36 plus countries. I've seen photos of the table for all of these countries that they're going to sit around. It's this massive table that they're all going to be sitting around as they discuss their entry into Brics. One of those countries that will be attending this event is going to be Turkey. And yesterday there was a terrorist attack at a defense industry site, I believe in Ankara, or the Ankara area. And there were reports that Erdogan had to cut his Brics attendance short and go back to Turkey, but he actually stayed. He stayed in Kazan, and I believe he's going to be attending the event today, the Brics Plus outreach event. And the Turkish military, they launched strikes into Iraq and Syria, targeting the Kurdish the Kurdish forces that they blame for the terrorist attack in Ankara, this defense industry where there were casualties. I believe 3 or 4 security guards were killed, maybe more casualties at this terrorist attack. But NATO, Rutte, he was asked by an Estonian journalist yesterday if NATO approves of Turkey applying to enter Brics. And Rutte said it's none of our business, is actually what Rutte said. This was a surprise response from Mark Rutte. But what else can they do? What else can NATO do? Are they going to prevent Turkey from joining Brics? They can't do anything. Rutte said it's Turkey's decision as a sovereign country, he said, if they want to join Brics. But Turkey inside of NATO is a valued member of NATO. So Turkey is going to get the best of all worlds, I guess, if you consider being in NATO something good. Turkey's going to be in NATO. They're going to be in Brics. And they're not going to be in the European Union. That's a win. That is a win across the board, even though I don't consider being part of NATO as a win. But for Turkey, for the military industrial complex in Turkey and all the money that flows into these industries, I imagine it's a win for them to be a part of NATO. But they got a clear path to Brics, according to Rutte, the new Secretary General of NATO. So Peskov was asked about why Project Ukraine is not discussed more during the Brics Kazan summit. And Peskov said because it's not a big issue for Brics. That was Peskov's answer. He said it's a big issue for Russia, but for Brics, it's not a top agenda item. So that is why we're not really discussing, as Brics, we're not really discussing Project Ukraine, which I find to be a very, very interesting answer from Peskov. It shows that Russia is not obsessed with Ukraine, even though it is the most important topic for Russia. Foreign policy topic for Russia. It's Ukraine. It's Project Ukraine, the proxy war against the collective West. But Russia is involved in so many other things, and they're not completely obsessed and overtaken with Project Ukraine. They understand that there's a bigger picture, and that bigger picture is Brics. Doesn't mean that they're not focused on winning in Ukraine, but Brics, getting out of the dollar system, that's the big picture. And it also highlights how the collective West is completely obsessed with Project Ukraine, actually. It shows that Russia, even though this is a huge issue for Russia, existential issue for Russia, they're still not overtaken and obsessed and consumed with Project Ukraine, but the collective West is absolutely obsessed and consumed and overtaken with Project Ukraine. That's all they talk about. It's definitely all the European Union talks about, Project Ukraine. So that was an interesting answer from Peskov. And Modi, he posted on X, with fellow Brics leaders at the summit in Kazan, Russia. This summit is special because we welcomed the new Brics members. This forum has immense potential to make our planet better and more sustainable. That is the X post from Modi of India. So Project Ukraine, what is going on with Project Ukraine? Things are going really bad for the Ukraine military on the front lines. Selidovo, which is the latest city to be encircled by the Russian military, it looks like they're pushing further into the center of Selidovo. Actually, I read this morning that the Russian military has raised the Russian flag, I believe, in the center of Selidovo. The Ukraine forces are retreating, trying to retreat westward, but there's really nowhere they can go because, from what I understand, the city is encircled. So they're either going to have to use the dirt roads to try and escape, or to leave on foot. But it looks like Selidovo is going to be the next city to be captured by the Russian military in the next couple of days. And in Toretsk, which is going going to be the city after Selidovo to be captured by the Russian forces. We are getting reports from the Ukraine military that the situation in Donetsk, very fortified town, city of Donetsk, has been stabilized, which to me, when the Ukraine military puts out an announcement which talks about a town or city being stable after a Russian offensive, it usually means that within the next week or two, the Russian military is going to capture that city as well. So Selidovo is going to fall in a couple of days, maybe by next week, and Donetsk is going to fall after that. And so the situation for Zelensky is bad on the front lines, and this explains why the comedian in the green t-shirt is talking about a freeze in the conflict, a ceasefire. That is according to the Financial Times. The pigeons, man, they're just hanging out. Just hanging out, enjoying life in Nicosia, a city of pigeons. Nicosia, Cyprus. Oh boy. So, yeah, he is saying, according to the Financial Times, that if Russia halts its strikes on Ukraine energy infrastructure, then Ukraine is going to halt its drone attacks on Russian energy infrastructure. And this could be a first step to a ceasefire, a freeze in the conflict. Financial Times is reporting Russia halting strikes on energy targets could lead to peace talks, says Volodymyr Zelensky. Quote, "We saw during the first summit that there could be a decision on energy security. In other words, we do not attack their energy infrastructure. They don't attack ours. Could this lead to the end of the war's hot phase? I think so." Zelensky told journalists on Monday, as quoted by the British newspaper, the Financial Times. The summit he was referring to was hosted by Switzerland in June and excluded Russia. The Swiss Peace Summit, which Russia was banned from attending. But according to Zelensky, if Russia stops striking Ukrainian energy infrastructure, then Ukraine is going to stop sending drones into Russia's energy infrastructure. The problem for Ukraine is that Russia's attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure has been very successful, and it has brought Ukraine's energy infrastructure to near collapse, while Ukraine sending drones into Russian territory to hit their energy infrastructure hasn't done anything, really. Hasn't made a dent in Russia's energy infrastructure. So Russia has all the leverage in this situation, and I don't know if they'll take Zelensky up on this offer. I don't think so. Judging by Putin's latest statements, especially what he said before the Brics summit to the media, I don't think this is going to convince Russia to go for a freeze in the conflict. I don't think this is enough, but we'll see. We will see. And we have from the Pentagon and the Biden White House a reversal on what is going on with North Korea. North Korean troops in Russia, in Kursk, possibly in Ukraine. And now it seems as if the Pentagon has found evidence. This is what they say. They have found evidence that North Korean troops are in Russia, in the east of Russia. That's key. That is the key. The key words in this statement that came from Austin and from Kirby is that they believe North Korean troops are in Russia, in the east of Russia, not in Ukraine, not in Kursk, but in the east of Russia. Via Zero Hedge. This new U.S. confirmation marks a reversal of sorts. As recently as the start of this week, the Pentagon refused to back Ukrainian and South Korean spy agency claims that some 10,000 North Korean troops are headed into the conflict. Yeah, it is a reversal, a very sudden reversal. I did a video yesterday talking about this very topic. And as the day went along, we got this reversal, this news that, hey, everything we said last week about not seeing any evidence of North Korean troops in the conflict in Ukraine or in Russia, well, we've changed our minds. We now see evidence of North Korean troops in the east of Russia. And yesterday I talked about how Budanov was getting in on this North Korea action, this narrative of North Korea. Budanov coming out with a bunch of statements on North Korean troops possibly going to Kursk and Russia exchanging nuclear technology for North Korean soldiers. And Budanov he's the CIA guy. And so my guess is that the CIA, they got Budanov to make these statements, and the three-letter agencies, they're telling the Biden White House and the Pentagon that they need a change of narratives. Stop saying that there's no evidence of North Korean troops in Russia. Change of narrative. There are North Korean troops in Russia, and there might be North Korean troops in Russia. there very well might be. Why not? Why not? But they're really pushing this narrative of North Korea with regards to the conflict in Ukraine. So something with the three-letter agencies is going on. That's my guess, because Budanov started sounding off on this yesterday, and now you have this sudden reversal from Austin and the Pentagon and from Kirby and the White House. So something is cooking. They're up to something. I can't quite figure it out just yet. But the New York Times, they put out an article with the title, U.S. says North Korean troops are in Russia to aid fight against Ukraine. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III, Lloyd Austin III, called the situation very, very serious, though he said that what the soldiers were doing in Russia was left to be seen. In the Washington Post, they put out an article with the title, North Korean troops are in Russia, would be legitimate targets in Ukraine, the U.S. says. Citing newly declassified intelligence, the Biden administration said that at least 3,000 personnel are undergoing combat training in Russia, though it is unclear if they'll join the war. So the New York Times, they're running the stories. They're running the evidence story from the statements of Austin, and the Washington Post, they're taking this from the statements of Kirby. So each publication is doing its part to feed into this North Korea in Ukraine narrative. And the NATO investigation that I was talking about yesterday in my video, that NATO is going to investigate North Korean troops in Project Ukraine. Well, NATO has completed its investigation. They've completed the investigation, and what do you know? They have also found evidence of North Korean troops in Russia. That's the key term, in Russia. North Korean troops in Russia. Allies have confirmed evidence of a DPRK troop deployment to Russia. If these troops are destined to fight in Ukraine, it would mark a significant escalation in North Korea's support for Russia's illegal war, and yet another sign of Russia's significant losses on the front lines, Farah Daklalal said in a statement. So Lloyd Austin, he said that for the first time of the war, the Pentagon has assessed that North Korean troops appear to be in Russia. Quote, we are seeing evidence that there are North Korean troops that have gone to Russia. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin told reporters in Rome on Wednesday. What exactly they're doing, left to be seen. And Kirby said, and I quote, if they do deploy to fight, North Korean troops, if they do deploy to fight against Ukraine, they're fair game. They're fair targets, and the Ukrainian military will defend themselves against North Korean soldiers the same way they're defending themselves against Russian soldiers, Kirby told a press briefing at the White House. Kirby also said that the North Korean troops, they're making their way into Russia via ship from the Won area in North Korea to Vladivostok. Kirby said these soldiers then traveled onward to multiple Russian military training sites in eastern Russia, where they are currently undergoing training Kirby said it was too early to say for sure if they will enter into combat alongside the Russian military, but added it was a highly concerning probability. So North Korea, they're denying these allegations. They are saying that the claims it sent troops to Russia are groundless and stereotype rumors. And Peskov, Kremlin spokesman, said that cooperation between Russia and North Korea is our sovereign right. But what Moscow has seen, that Moscow has seen a lot of contradictory information on the matter. So North Korea issued a very strong denial. The Kremlin, not so strong of a denial. Interesting statement from Peskov, but he says the main point in all of this, which is this is our sovereign right. I mean, what's the allegation that the U.S. is throwing at Russia, that Kirby and Austin are hurling at Russia? What's the allegation that Russia, a sovereign country, is training troops of another country on their territory? That's the allegation, right? I mean, that's what they're saying as well. There are North Korean troops in Russia. That's the allegation. And if the North Korean troops end up going to Kursk, Kursk is also Russia. So Russia has North Korean troops inside of Russia. Maybe North Korean troops want to get training inside of Russia. Military training. Maybe they want to get military training in Kursk. When you think about the numbers, they're very, very small. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, from what I understand, Russia is recruiting 30,000 professional soldiers every month, volunteers. 30,000 recruits every month are volunteering every month, and that's been going on for the past year and a half, maybe even more than 30,000, maybe 40,000. And the Russian military is at what now? It's about 1,200,000. And it's going to grow to I believe, 1.8 or 2 million in the next year or so. So does 3,000 North Korean troops? This is what Kirby is saying is 3,000 North Korean troops. Zelensky said 12,000. So let's take Zelensky's number and Syrski's number of 12,000. Does that really make a difference in the conflict? No. Does it make a difference in Kursk? Not really. It doesn't change it's not going to change the fate of the Ukraine troops trapped in Kursk. They're trapped in Kursk and they're being annihilated by the Russian military. Maybe North Korea wants to see what's going on. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they just want to hang around in the east of Russia and get training. But whatever the situation, it doesn't really change. It's not going to change the outcome of the war. 10,000, 12,000, 3,000, whatever the number is, North Korean troops. So if this happened last year, this wasn't going to be an issue. I don't think the collective West would have even ran with this story. I don't think they would have cared. So the question that I have, I think the important question is why? Why are they pushing this North Korea story? What are they up to? What are they cooking up? This, I think, is the big question to ask. I mean, the UK is training. The UK, as a sovereign country, is training Ukrainian troops. Yesterday, they trained, or 2 days ago, Zelensky put a post up on social media, an announcement. The ambassador of the UK, Zelensky, congratulating Ukraine pilots who are training in the UK. One sovereign country training the troops of another country. Okay, Ukraine pilots training in the UK. The EU, we know that they have a program that's training 30,000 or 40,000 Ukraine troops in Poland and Germany. They've been running this program for 2 years now. So Poland is training Ukraine troops. Germany is training Ukraine troops. This has been going on for 2 years. 30,000 troops, 40,000 troops. And I believe a year ago, or 2 years ago, there was a story from, I believe the BBC ran this story, The Guardian ran this story, where there was a US leak, a document leak, which talked about how UK special forces, Collective West special forces, were actually on the ground in Ukraine. Were actually in Ukraine fighting. I remember this story. It was in April 2023, March, when this document leaked. I'll find the story and I'll put it up on the screen right now, from the BBC, from the Guardian, from the Daily Mail. They were talking about this. So I mean, this is like the worst kept secret. If they're saying that there are troops from other countries fighting in Ukraine, it's the worst kept secret in the world, right? Everyone knows that there are foreign mercenaries, if you want to call them mercenaries, or NATO troops, whatever you want to call them. They're fighting in Ukraine. I'm sure that Russia has their foreign soldiers and their mercenaries. I mean, this is not anything new. So if it's North Korean troops that even go to Ukraine, big deal. The question is, why? Why are they running this story? Why are they pushing this story, the Collective West? My thinking is that either it's a way to explain Russia's victory, maybe Russia's victory in Kursk. It's a way to explain why Kursk fell apart. It was North Korea that came to the rescue. That's one reason. Maybe after the election, Biden is going to approve long-range missile strikes or fast-track Ukraine into NATO. But after the election, so maybe they're preparing the way for some sort of big Biden announcement, and the reason Biden's going to change his mind about long-range missile strikes into Russia or Ukraine NATO membership, fast-tracking Ukraine NATO membership, is because of North Korea's involvement. Maybe that might happen. I don't think so, but Politico is talking about this, actually. They put out an article with the title, "Washington and Berlin are slow-walking Ukraine's bid for a NATO invitation. Ukraine Zelensky wants an immediate invitation to join the alliance, but key capitals are balking." And Politico talks about how the U.S. and Germany, they're slow-walking Ukraine's entry into NATO. Hungary and Slovakia, they're against it. And Politico says that Belgium, Slovenia, and Spain are hiding behind the U.S. and Germany, and they're reluctant about Ukraine getting fast-tracked into NATO. So Politico is basically calling out the countries that are against Ukraine entering NATO now, fast-tracking Ukraine into NATO. So maybe this is preparing the way. All of this is preparing the way for some Biden policy shift. And why has Biden changed his mind on long-range missile strikes or Ukraine into NATO? Because of North Korea. So that might be what's going on. And maybe this is not about Russia. Maybe this is about North Korea. Maybe running these stories about North Korea and Russia is about trying to start something up with North Korea. I don't know. I was thinking this morning, maybe all of these stories about North Korea in Russia, North Korean troops in Russia, is a way to poison the well if Trump becomes president, because maybe they fear that if Trump wins in November, come January, he's going to want to maybe revisit rapprochement with North Korea. Maybe he's going to want to re-engage with Rocket Man, because he was very close to a diplomatic deal with North Korea until John Bolton came along and sabotaged the deal. So maybe Trump may want to get another crack at talking to Rocket Man, and so they're running these stories about how North Korea is involved in the conflict in Ukraine as a way to make it difficult for Trump to re-engage with Rocket Man. I don't know. That's a possibility. Maybe this is an excuse for Western troops, for Collective West troops to enter the west of Ukraine. North Korean troops are maybe they're going to enter the conflict in Ukraine, so we have to enter the conflict in Ukraine. Macron, send 10 or 20,000 French troops into Odessa. Maybe that's what this is all about. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested to read what you guys have to say about why they're pushing this North Korean. What's wrong with this bench? This North Korean narrative. Anyway, squeaky park bench. So BlackRock, they are investing in Moldova. Big surprise. Big surprise. I'm shocked, man. I am absolutely shocked. BlackRock to buy land in Moldova. The Ministry of Agriculture of the country stated that they managed to agree on the sale of 600 hectares of land. It is more than the territory of Chisinau in 2 districts. The ministry calls the deal favorable. The amount, of course, is not disclosed, but they, the ministry, assure that it will replenish the country's budget and will be able to cover current expenses. BlackRock starts preparation for purchase of land in northern Moldova. I believe this was announced before the elections took place on the 16th of October. But yeah, Moldova gets a positive, a yes, to enter the EU, to put the EU entry into its constitution, barely by 50.5%, thanks to the diaspora, but not the Moldovan diaspora in Russia. They weren't allowed to vote. They were blocked from voting on this issue, but the diaspora on the collective West, they had access to vote on Moldova's entry into the European Union and putting in the constitution. And because of their last minute entry, their votes, it pushed the tally to over 50%. And now the path is clear for Moldova to put in its constitution that it wants to enter the EU. And I imagine this made BlackRock very, very happy, because they purchased a whole bunch of land in North Moldova. And you got to imagine that the EU is going to make it very, very easy for BlackRock to continue to purchase the country known as Moldova. And Annalena 360, she went on a crazy rant. This should be my clown world, actually. Annalena 360, she went on a crazy rant about Moldova and blaming Russia for interference in Moldova, right? Confession through projection. The collective West, the EU's favorite tactic. Confession through projection. Is that what it's called? But yeah, Annalena said that Russia attacked Moldova, but not in a military sense, in a hybrid war sense. She accused Russia of dividing Europe, the EU's migration problems, and sexist attacks on Maia Sandu, the president of Moldova, a European, a woman, and a mother. That is what Annalena said. Oh man, Germany is, oh boy, Germany. With each passing day, these leaders are pushing Germany over the freaking cliff, man. So that's Annalena. And let's do a clown world, and we'll wrap this video up. And today's clown world has to be the October surprise that that completely went bust. The October surprise from the globalists, from the Democratic Party, which went nowhere. And the Twitter X account of Bad Hombre, I think he sums it up perfectly. He posted on X, total meltdown tonight at the Harris-Walz campaign. The Hitler hoax didn't gain any traction. They've already overplayed that hand. The effing quote, this is the quote that The Atlantic ran with. The effing Mexican hoax backfired, with the sister of the murdered soldier, Vanessa Gillian, going on national TV and calling Harris and The Atlantic out for politicizing her sister's death. Actually, the family even said that they're voting for Trump. This is the hoax that The Atlantic ran with. He grabbed my ass 32 years ago. That's a quote. Hoax unraveled in less than an hour and is being universally mocked. A new Wall Street Journal poll released tonight shows Kamala losing the popular vote by 3 points, and Kamala bombed the CNN town hall, which was supposed to be her opportunity to present her closing arguments to undecided voters. Yeah, that town hall was a complete disaster. Even Anderson Cooper, the CNN host of this town hall, he even turned on Kamala Harris. I mean, he actually turned on Kamala Harris. It was ugly, man. He was going after her. I was shocked. I think even Anderson Cooper said, you know, this is ridiculous. I can't have her be president. This is absurd. But that was a train wreck. And the Atlantic story about the soldier, that was debunked within minutes. The other hoax from Kelly, Trump's former chief of staff, where he said that Trump admires the mustache man, Hitler, whatever, he's a fascist, whatever they were saying, that went bust. That went bust real quick. What's their obsession with the mustache man, with Hitler? I wonder, what is the globalist, the neoliberal obsession with Hitler all about? I mean, they are obsessed with this narrative, absolutely obsessed. But that fell apart as well. So it was a bad day for Harris. And then they tried to run another October surprise that Trump grabbed some girl's butt or something at an event. I don't know. I don't think anyone is paying attention to any of this stuff anymore. So that was the clown world. Big story yesterday, but the big story from the US election was that all of these October surprises, they were all timed to hit at once in the hopes that they would sink Trump's campaign, and nothing worked out, man. It was a disaster. It was a train wreck, these October surprises. So the Democratic Party is getting very desperate, man. The globalists, the neoliberals, they're getting very, very desperate. All right, that's the video. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like the t-shirt that I'm wearing today. Limited edition Locals design t-shirts. 20% off. Use the code October20. There's a link in the description box down below. October20. This used to be Privat Bank. We all know Privat Bank, who used to own Privat Bank, right? This is closed now. Anyway, that is the video. Take care.